From the camera angle to the perspective, if you think about it, food photography is pretty straightforward. To step out of that box every once in a while, it's refreshing. This is the Insta360 GO2. They're sponsoring this video. They wanted to do a collab together and see if I could create some really fun and interesting POV food shots here in the studio using this camera. And I was like, hell yeah, because one, this is some really, really cool tech. I mean, check that out. This is a camera that's smaller than my pinky. And two, I've just been dying to use a camera like this to get more of these impossible shots that you're gonna see right here. This is a crazy camera. It's an update from the original Insta360 Go. It shoots 1080 and 1440 video. It's basically a lens and a button like the original, wrapped in what looks like to be a much sleeker, more well-built waterproof shell. One of the biggest features or improvements from the original to this one is that they've increased the record time, which should make a lot of people happy because it's going from 15 or 30 seconds a clip or 60 seconds a clip or something like that to 10 minutes in standard video and up to 20 minutes in flow state stabilized video, which is a huge improvement. Plus you have 32 gigs of onboard storage. And instead of having to connect it to your phone via a cable like the previous model, now you can save your clips directly in the app. One of the things that this camera is known for is that it has a magnet on the back, and it's a pretty serious magnet. You could stick it to anything that's metal, so there are a ton of possible spots for capturing some cool angles. They also provide a bunch of really cool magnetic accessories, like the case for one, which doubles up as a stand if you can whip out these little 2 feet. But probably the best is this little magnetic pendant. Just place it under my shirt. How easy is that? And then they have their little pivot stand, which is a pretty cool accessory as well. And I'm thinking that I'm gonna probably get a lot of use out of this because I can hold this in my hand while at the same time holding something else and get a pretty killer POV shot. With a bitrate up to 125 megabits per second if you're using the highest settings when you're exporting, which is not super crazy, but it's not bad either. So if you're concerned with the highest possible image quality or the most cinematic look, this camera is probably not for you. But with that being said, I think Insta360 is trying to place the Go2 as a serious but fun camera hobbyists can take mountain climbing or biking or maybe in the studio as they're cooking a recipe. And more of a sidekick for those of us who are video or content creators and are already carrying a ton of gear. And we just want something that's super simple. It grabs that unique camera angle or two and doesn't take up too much space in our bag or has too many accessories that go along with it. I mean, the camera and the case is the size of my AirPods. Go2 is super portable. You can mount it pretty much everywhere. If you're a fan of killer POV camera angles, you can easily get these impossible shots, making your story just that much more immersive for your audience. It's as easy as just flipping open the case and controlling it from there. But I would actually download the app to your phone and connect the camera that way. And from there, you can control the camera's exposure, the quality, and the different modes like standard and pro video mode, slow motion, time lapse, hyperlapse. Plus, you can use the phone as a monitor, which is what I did to line up all of my shots, which you can then export the files straight to your phone and quickly get them up, which makes the Go2 an awesome camera for creating some Instagram stories or some behind the scenes content. It'll shoot 120 frames per second slow motion, which is awesome. Plus, you can shoot in 3 different color profiles, standard, vivid, and log. This little camera can also do something that I'm sure you've seen before called the barrel roll. Inside the app, you're able to reframe the image after the fact or twist it or make it do a 360 if you want. Because it's capturing more than just the rectangle frame, but much more around the frame. You're able to slightly reposition the frame if you want. If you captured your video in pro mode, hyperlapse, or time-lapse, press and hold on the screen, then drag to reposition. This adds a keyframe down there on your clip, which you can select to delete or click on and then use the slider to rotate the image. Maybe your horizon is off, or maybe you just want to do a 360 like I did in this clip on my morning walk. Pick where you want to start the barrel roll. Then you press and drag to reposition the frame. I want this dot probably at the end of the tunnel. Then I'll scrub through to where I want the barrel roll to stop. Again, at a point. I'll drag it until the end of the tunnel is in the middle again, and then I'll select this keyframe and drag the rotation slider to 360 degrees. Then play it back and it does this epic spin. I love this because it turns an ordinary and almost ugly corrugated tunnel on a walking path into a video clip that's pretty epic and cinematic. I created another one walking into my building, and I just love how easy it is. You wear this little necklace, you click on your camera, and that's it. It's pretty unintrusive. I didn't notice a lot of people staring at it, and I don't think at first glance a lot of people are gonna think this is a camera, because you don't need any of these big giant straps or accessories. You do a lot of vlogs or recipe videos, I'm sure you could really appreciate just how good the horizontal lock and stabilization are on this camera. When it's switched on, you can rotate the camera any way you want and it stays locked in position. When I was shooting this recipe video, I was continuously blown away by both its size and where I could place it, capturing some angles that, although they could use some work, I haven't really been able to get a camera into, like say this mixing glass for this pour shot. I don't really think that Insta360 had food content creators in mind, but I think if you're doing a recipe video or some kind of food brand work, this little camera could get you some angles, some perspectives that might make your project stand out. Maybe you don't shoot your entire video with this camera, but as a sidekick, like I said before, it's a camera that you don't mind getting wet. A tool that gives you that handheld feel, that POV that brings your viewers into your story. It'll work great for that. Plus, with the camera and the case, it's not like it's taking up any more space in your bag. A huge shout out and huge thanks to the great people over at Insta360 for sending this to me. Thanks for sponsoring this video. Check them out and check this camera out down in the description below. I'll place a link down there. Also, while you're down there, please hit that like button. Please subscribe, drop some comments down below. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.